Hey, it's Adam Ellis, and I'm back with a brand new video. And today's something a bit different. We're talking to a graphic designer. He's called Andy, and his brand is We Design DJs. He also goes by the brand name Fuse and works exclusively with my clients and offers them some really cool discounts. And yeah, we're going to talk to him today just about the process of being a designer. Lots of awesome questions, I hope. So yeah, we hope that you like this video, something a bit different. So we'll switch straight over to the other screen, and we'll start speaking to Andy. Cool. So Andy is on the call now. So Andy, yeah, tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll ask some questions. But yeah, tell everyone what you're all about and who you work with and whatnot.
Yeah, my name's Andy. I've been a designer for the music industry since about 2008. I've worked for names such as Gareth Emery, Hardwell, Ben Nicky, Snoop Dogg, as well as many other names.
Snoop Dogg, that's crazy.
yeah. We've designed logos, branding, just anything you can think of that needs designing as a marketing collateral, and we do it. We've worked with other brands out of the music industry like Fashion TV, big crypto brands, just many brands basically. We've been going since 2008.
Awesome, brilliant. Well, that's awesome. So yeah, I've been working with you for a long time now, as well as some other designers. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to get you on a call, and I'm trying to do some videos that are a bit different at the minute, rather than just tutorials. And yeah, I don't think I've ever personally seen a video like this where where a designer's talking about working with trance artists and how it all works. So yeah, I'll generally go to a designer and say, hey, I want this making, and we will have a chat. We'll talk about a price. You'll want a brief. And that's kind of the process. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to get Andy back on the channel, like I said, and we're going to design a Facebook banner. But for now, I just want to ask some questions. So cool. So let's talk about your background and inspiration. So what inspired you to start your journey as a graphic designer?
Oh, it's mad, actually. I used to DJ back in, I started when I was at high school on some belt drives. And I got a residency at this club after just playing at a few clubs and bars, and I needed to do my own flyer, and I did it in Publisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I made a brand called Cosmic Funk, and it was like it weren't actually bad, actually. And but I made it in Publisher, and that's how it started. And then I downloaded Photoshop and just started playing around.
Yeah.
No,
that's crazy though. So it's a bit like when you want to make trance, you just download it. You download like a free copy of Fruity Loops and kind of get going. We've all been there. Yeah. I remember you sent me some good demos back in the day, though. Like I think you sent me some good stuff. Like when I was learning, you was kind of learning at the same time, and you were sending stuff that I personally thought was more advanced than what I was doing. So why did you knock that on the head?
I just didn't think I was good enough.
Yeah. Oh, you were.
Yeah.
It takes a long time, doesn't it? If you're doing the graphics as well, you got to split it. Awesome. So is there a name behind is there a story behind the name Fuse? That's the brand name that you use when you're working on some clients of mine's designs. What's the name behind that?
Well, you wanted to partner up with me so I could give your what do you call it, students some decent logos, prices exclusive to your brand, and I thought, what name could we do? Because we're going to be partnering. So I just thought we're going to be fusing together. And that's how I came up with the name.
That's a fairly logical answer. Awesome. So, what's the most memorable project or client that shaped your design style? It could be anything, I'm guessing Snoop Dogg's up there. So, yeah, what's the one design that you always remember that kind of, that stands out to you?
Well, one of my designs?
Yeah.
There's one actually. It's a logo designed for a duo called Designed Memories, and it was a challenge, that job, but the final output is just unreal. One of my best works. I probably won't ever beat it.
Sorry, yeah, it's a bit like when you make a track and you get into that stage where it's so fucking hard, and it's not until you finished it a couple of months later you listen to it and you're like, wow, I can't believe I actually made that.
Yeah.
A bit like that, and it's these tracks are so challenging sometimes. So yeah, that's awesome. So cool. So let's just talk about the creative process. So how do you approach a project from the initial idea to the final product?
So I get a brief first, and then I'll research whatever industry or whatever genre the works for, and then I'll get a lot of inspiration. I'll get a mood board going. I'll do a few sketches, and then I'll just go from there.
Yeah. So it's quite a fluid process for you at this time. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to method for kind of getting past creative blocks? In trance production, we have these blocks, and I think the best thing for me personally is just, I used to like try and work through the block and I'd get frustrated, but now I'm mature enough in a production sense to understand if it's one of them days where it's just not working, I just like say tomorrow's a fresh day. I shut the studio down and I don't get involved anymore. But I used to like try and work through it. My ego would like be like, no, I'm gonna beat this, and you never beat it. You just end up want to smash your keyboard up. So as a designer, what are the creative blocks that you kind of have? How do you get past them?
Rest, take time off until it comes back. Like sometimes, like you could overwork yourself, so you can just keep going. You pushing out your best work, and then all of a sudden, that day comes when you just can't. Nothing works, and you're just moving your mouse around the screen, and you're just getting constantly annoyed because you can't come up with anything. So over the years, I've just learnt to just go rest and do something different, and go out for a walk or.
And that takes a bit of time and patience, I imagine, right? Just to understand how to do that. It doesn't come. So yeah, if you're kind of a producer or maybe a graphic designer watching this, yes, take some points. If it's one of them days, there's no point in trying to work through it because the majority of people are just going to get stressed out. It's just, you have one of them days, nothing's working, things sound shit, you're doubting yourself. So yeah.
It's just a waste of time. So if you're just going to keep pushing through, you're wasting your time. So just go and do something you enjoy, and then inspiration will come back.
Yep, that makes sense. So how do you balance client expectations with your personal design vision?
So this is a difficult one sometimes because clients always have they over expect, their expectations are too high. So I like to make sure once we've I've booked a project in, I make sure that they know the expectations, that I'm the designer, I know what works. So when you're designing something, it's not just a case of, oh, look, there's a flyer, I just need to throw a few things about. You need to understand the industry, the market. As a designer, you're finding a solution to a problem. So if, for example, I'm designing for an event and it's not selling tickets, I need to work out why it's not selling tickets. So I need to start from what is the strategy, what is what does the artwork and branding look like, and then we go from there. It's finding a solution to a problem.
So it's not just a case of like, hey, here's what I want, do it. You go much deeper than that. That's interesting. Yeah. This is why I wanted to do this video called, so kind of just, it's just an interesting subject, really. There might be people out there that don't give a fuck if it's want a logo made, but for me, I'm quite involved, and I don't know, I just thought it'd be a cool topic. So, is there a specific tool or software that you can't live without?
Adobe, I need Adobe, but the creative, the suite. But over the past 4 or 5 years, there's so many bugs in the software, and sometimes it's just so hard to use. Like I used to use Photoshop from CS2 up to now, and that was like 2004. And there were never any issues or bugs, but now it's just constant. Like now, for example, if I'm ungrouping like some layers, it takes about 4 seconds to just do that. And it's like,
nightmare. It's funny you should say that because Logic's just done an update and it's absolutely shocking. It's just so buggy, and it's just like, it was fine before. Version 10 works really smoothly. 11's come out, and it's the biggest regret I've ever done installing it. I wish I didn't, but it's just got so many problems, and there's like one new feature it's all right, and that where you can search for plugins, but other than that, it's a nightmare. And so I feel your pain on that one. So yeah,
you live without it.
Yeah, well, I need it. If I had to go to a PC, I'd have to quit producing because I can't stand PC. Not to get into that PC versus Mac debate. They've got different roles and they work well for different people. But yeah, I couldn't live without a Mac, and if I had to, I think I'd quit producing, unfortunately, which is probably a bit sad, really. So let's talk about projects and challenges. So we've kind of already been over a project that you found, that stood out to you. What's been the most challenging project, and what made it difficult?
Let me think. There's been a few, actually. I did it. So Gareth Emery, I did his Garuda logo. That was fine.
That's awesome.
So like a revamp of that logo. And then his manager messaged me saying, can you redesign his actual artist logo? So they paid me the 50% up front. And then I just started designing it, doing all the process I just explained to you. Started designing it. I'm like, it doesn't need redesigning. Like if you look at his logo now, it's spot on. It's timeless. Yeah. And I just said I can't do it. I spent over a month trying to work it out to make it better. I couldn't. And sometimes
give his money back.
No. I kept the deposit because that's just the nature of it. Sometimes, like you can see like major design agencies who like take 250 grand logos on, and they have issues and they just can't. The client doesn't like the work, so sometimes it's just best to just say I can't do it.
Why would you spend 250 grand on a logo? Like for instance, the Olympic game logo, I believe it cost something like 2 million, and it's just a logo. Like I've had logos made like that for 200-300 quid. So why on earth are they costing millions of pounds? It makes no sense to me.
It's all about the relativity to the industry. Like for example, if Coca-Cola came to me, they said, "Ray, we need a logo redesign." And the branding redesign, I'm not going to charge them 50 quid, am I? It's all relative to scale. Do you know what I mean?
In a sense, though, just to challenge that, and not to challenge you, but I'm just curious, is that not a bit like having a nice car and getting charged more because you've got a nice car when it's the same part? If you need to put a standard air filter, it costs 10 quid regardless. It's not
because you've got Ferrari, then you've got Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's different levels, different standards.
If it's the same process, if it's the same process and the same work, surely it should just be a set price. Why are they paying more just because it's Coca-Cola? I'm just trying to understand the business.
It's just different levels. You've got different levels of designers, and not everybody can design the same like clever designs or timeless, iconic designs. Like a logo is there to be recognized and memorable. If it doesn't do the job, but that's for this conversation's for another time.
Yeah, I'll challenge you. In other words, stop pressing me, Adam. Bless you. All right, mate, that's cool. So what's the weirdest and most expected source of inspiration that you've ever got in a project? Probably Coca-Cola.
So I was once sat on the toilet, right, and there was a towel on the floor, and I was struggling with this logo job, and there was a towel, and it was folded in a certain way. And do you know how the human brain sees things in like clouds, like faces? Yeah. I saw a shape in the towel and took a photo of it and used it as a concept, like drew it out.
That's crazy. Were you high?
No. I wish I was.
It reminds me of South Park Towler. Do you ever see that, where you get stoned all the time?
No.
Oh, if you've not seen it, if you're a South Park lover, you'll know what I mean. If you're watching this, you don't know South Park, ignore me. But if you like South Park, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's basically this towel. This towel comes to life, and he just loves getting stoned. So just a stupid little thing. This conversation is weird. So yeah, have you ever had a design disaster, and how did you turn it around?
Yeah. Again, that Design Memories logo. So the original brief was, because it's called Design Memories, they wanted something clever relating to like memories, mind, human head, blah, blah, blah. So all based around the head, the brain. So we were like, I spent about 4 weeks non-stop trying to come up with like clever ideas, which were simple, iconic, and I just couldn't nail it. And then I send all concepts over, and then one night I just said to the client, Ray, I'm not sure where to go with this. Just give us an hour or two. Let me just think about this. And I just had an idea. I'll do it in 3D. You don't usually design logos in 3D. You do it as a flat design. And I thought, I want to try something. So I opened Cinema 4D. I downloaded a human head, just a model. And then I just played around with some geometric shapes to come up with a logo. And it just worked. It was like loads of blocks in like an array formation. And if you look at it head on, it looks like Designed Memories. It just looks like loads of bars like just coming from the head, and it just works. I sent it over and they were buzzing.
You have to show us that in the next video. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
That was really challenging.
Yeah, that's crazy how you've done that, though. So yeah, that was your design disaster, and you turn it around. Yeah. So is there a dream project or client you'd love to work with someday? Yeah, a bit like trying. I'd love to get a track signed on Armand. Funnily enough, by Armin van Buuren. that has always been a dream for me, but I just don't really feel like I make the kind of music that's on there particularly, which is a shame. So yeah, Armin, yeah, what a legend. So a few more to go. Personal insights and fun. So how would you describe your design style in 3 words or whatever, just in a set of words?
I like it. I think original. I try to always be original. I never copy of anything. What else? Original.
So original is 1.
It's hard to explain my design style
Put you on the
because
spot really with these questions.
no, it's okay. I've never thought about that, But I just think of it as just my design. Just say original. Like
So just original, yeah.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Anybody,
We don't need to cap it. We don't need to be too specific. So yeah, you just when we think of you, we think of original. You like to be original, which is obviously great for a designer. You see a lot of logos out there that are clearly just templates, and I've had some things made on Fiverr before, and it's just a waste of time because you just get a bog standard logo. There's no personalization to it. It serves a purpose, but if you wanted to get something unique, then that's why you come to a proper designer, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have any non-design hobbies that influence your work aside from sitting on the toilet?
Gaming. I love to game. So if I'm gaming, sometimes I'll see like a gaming UI or menu or something, and I'm like, oh, that could work in a poster design. So yeah, that inspires me.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm a bit nervous doing this. I've never really done a question before. I'm not sure if I'm a good interviewer or not. Hopefully it's coming across okay. So do you listen to music or podcasts while designing? What's on your playlist, or do you just keep it simple and you need to focus? Like for instance, if I'm writing an email, I find that I can't really have music playing. It distracts me.
Yeah, with design, some days I can have music or a podcast on. It just depends on my mood and if how pressured I am to get something out. But sometimes I'll put a luminosity on and I'll just listen to a ton of those sets. So I'll listen to XFM with shows, like comedy stuff like Carl Pilkington and stuff.
Yeah.
But generally, Trance, John Askew. I listen to some of yours actually, Lumi,
awesome.
some of your Lumi sets. Yeah. So just Lumi, Simon Patterson, John Askew, all that sort of sound.
So it just depends on the day, and if you're having one days you like to have a podcast or listen to some trance, basically.
Yeah, it just depends on the mood.
Yeah. The mood controls everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing at Lumi next year, and I'm trying to do my set, and I like to plan it in advance, and I'm just like laying some ideas down. And some days I'll, if I mean, like let's say I get an email from someone and it annoys me, or a challenging email, like I might go and try and look at my playlist I'm going to play, and I'm just not in the mood, and the songs don't evoke any emotion. It just but then if I'm having a really good day and the sun's out and I go to this playlist and I start playing it, I get in the moment and I can envision it and it makes me feel incredible. But it's such an interesting kind of feeling. It's an interesting thing that your mood can just dictate. It's common sense. It's logical, really. The mood dictates what's happening, but it's fascinating how I can listen to this playlist and get so emotional and kind of really feel it and imagine it, and some days it just doesn't invoke any emotion. It's all based on what's happening in my life around that time. It's fascinating.
Yeah. As well, just reverting back to that. So some of my best work's been listening to trance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get that feeling. You're like, oh, this is amazing. And I've done 24-hour shifts sometimes, just powering through deadlines with trance on, and that pushes you through. So
you need a few playlists for that, don't you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's really good to know about that. So just for the last set of sections, so future goals and advice. So again, a bit of an unusual video. I mean, I'm more of a trance producer, and I am a trance producer, and this channel's here to teach people. But yeah, just trying to kind of switch things up and do something a bit different. So what goals have you got for anyone that's looking to get into design, or maybe they're a producer and they want to they've got that inkling to design too, a bit like you did the music, you did the design. What tips can you give people to kind of get started?
To get started, you just need to observe other great designers' works, portfolios. Don't look at all the shit on Facebook or social media. Buy logo books. If you want to design good logos, buy logo books. Like Logo Modernism is one of the best books out there.
Okay.
It's got timeless logos from 100 years ago, and those logos still work today.
Brilliant.
So just things like that. So always look for like legendary designers and look at their work and how they approach the work, how they design things, look at the design styles, and then try to recreate some of their work if their work's the sort of work you like. If not, look at some high level. If it's for the music industry, look at some. I think is it Ruud van Eyck. Who does Nicky Romero stuff. Look at his stuff. He's really good. So you just have to observe, and then if you want to learn, or if you want to make a portfolio and you ain't got any clients, just make some folks logos or work up and just practice that way, and then you can fill your portfolio. And tips, you've got to be, if you want to get out there as well, you've got to be creating content. So this is one thing I don't do. Learn how your tools work. And then you can make is it reels and stories, like tutorials or like short clips, and that'll get your name out there. That's the best way these days.
That's a good tip, because normally, when you start, it's frustrating to honest with you. You have to do social media. I want to be a trance producer. I don't really want to be doing this social media stuff where I'm having to post stuff, but it's a necessity. If you don't do it, you just fade away. And sure, you can make great music, and making great music is the number one key. It's all well and good being great at social media if you've not got good tracks out there, but you need to be relevant and posting. It's a bit of a shame, really. I wish I was a producer back in the day where you could just focus on making a track and send it to a label and that's it. I'd imagine that life was a lot better back then for a producer. But unfortunately, that's some really good advice. So what software would you say, obviously most people start in FL Studio or Ableton as a producer, what would you say go and check out if you want to get into design?
If you want to start, I wouldn't go with Adobe because it's quite pricey. Because as soon as you sign up, you have to pay for the next 12 months.
Oh, wow.
So you're bound to that contract. And as soon as you roll on to the next one, you have to have it for the next 12 months. So it's like 60 quid a month. So I wouldn't go with that. There's free software. There's one called GIMP, and that's free. You could just try that. Yeah, that's free. You can just try that just to see if if just sticking your toe in the water, or you can get another. There's another brand. I think it was originally Coral Draw, called Affinity Designer or Affinity Photo. You buy that once for like 60 quid, $60, and then you own it for life.
That's amazing.
So you don't have, so I'd recommend using that. It's got more or less all the features Adobe's got, but I don't think it's got the AI things. But you don't really need that if you want to do logos and flyers.
I'd imagine there's lots of tutorials out there for that.
Yep, there's many, and more so than the Adobe ones, and because I think, yeah.
So have you ever gone down the teaching route? Like, obviously, my bread and butter is teaching. Well, that's how I make a living. It's my full-time job. And, if it wasn't for... I wish I could just be a full-time producer. That would be amazing. Although I do love teaching. I find it very, very beneficial. Have you ever gone down the teaching avenue and kind of tried to get an income that way and explored that revenue stream? Or is it not something you bother doing?
Yeah, I thought about making a course for logo design. I've done a couple of YouTube videos, and like I told you last on the call we had, I lost my login, didn't I? And I was going to carry on posting more tutorials. I'll set up another one at some point when I've got time. At the minute, I haven't got time, but I wanted to make a course, how I approach, say, a DJ or record label logo, and then obviously push it to the correct target market. I'll probably end up doing it in future. But not...
The possibilities are endless. You could do so much. You could do a series on actually just designing, how to. You could do all sorts. You could do, the basics of Photoshop or the basics of GIMP. You could do a little series on that. I mean, you could be like, right, now we understand the basics. This series is going to be about, how to design a logo. And then it can be like, right, how to actually get your logo, how to get business. The possibilities are endless. You just got to try and find something that's maybe a bit more unique, that's not been done before. Again, I keep banging on about it, but that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, just bring something a little bit different. And, maybe people, as I said, people come to me generally for production advice. So I'm not sure how this video is going to go down, but I know for one that I would have loved to have seen stuff like this, just to get a bit of an insight of how it works. And, if anything, maybe a producer watching this that wants a logo done and they know what you're all about, or, there's other designers out there that they might be speaking to. At least they've got your advice on kind of how to approach it, having realistic expectations, having a vision. It's no good coming to you and saying, right, I want a logo, and not having anything else. Like, you need to know what we want, right? So hopefully this video can be useful for them. Yeah. So where do you see yourself in your brand in 5 years' time?
It's hard. You know, I was reading these questions earlier when you sent them, right? And I thought about that, and I can't answer it because I've done everything I've wanted to do.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So I'm just, as long as I'm just creating, I haven't got any more goals. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I've worked for all the names apart from Armin van Buuren.
Yeah.
and Armada.
We need to get him an email sent. Hopefully we'll send him this video.
I designed a logo 2018, and it was quite clever. It was a compact Armin van Buuren logo mark, and I sent it over. I didn't get a reply.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult. There's such a big busy label, but do you know what? I do love Armin's logo. I think it's so awesome. Like, I've seen that. Cosmic Gates I really like too. There's a lot of logos I like out there. There's some that I don't like as well, but this channel's all about positivity, so we're not going to talk about them. We're getting some right trouble. So what? We've already gone over that one. Like, what advice would you give? We've already covered that, right? Just have a vision, get on social media. Learn some basic programs. Don't buy Photoshop.
Learn your own style. Learn your own style is key. Don't copy off anybody else. If you are watching tutorials as well, just learn the techniques and then work out how you can use those in a more clever way. And that's how I learn. I was looking at tutorials, but you generally see some designers, they watch a tutorial and then they'll just copy it and then post that work and say, I've done this. Don't do that. Just learn the techniques, and that's how you improve and get originality. That's how I learn.
It's a bit like making music. When I first started, I'd listen to a Sean Tyas track and I'd try and kind of create that style. And then I'd hear an Ali Feeler track and I'd be like, no, I want that like really short offbeat, big kick, massive clap. And then I listen to a John Askew track and it's tight and it's got a rolling bass rather than an offbeat. And I'm constantly never happy. But when you get in the studio, when you try and copy someone, it never works. And I have clients coming to me saying, I'm trying to recreate like this style, and I can't do it. I'm having a nightmare. And I'm like, you're never going to be able to do it. There's the odd person out there talking about Sean Tyas. He likes to recreate things, and I think he told me in the past that he likes to deconstruct tracks and kind of analyze them, and he's an incredible sound designer and whatnot. So he's got the ability to do that, but most people are not going to be able to just sit there and copy someone else's style. And aside from learning purposes, like Sean obviously does, why would you want to do that? Sean's got his own style. He's recreating things to get an understanding, but recreating things to try and have that as yours is never going to work. You need to find your own sound, don't you? And I always say to people, just be you. I remember this one client, and he wanted to be a 140 producer, and it just wasn't working. And anyway, one day he sent me a progressive track, and it was incredible. Anyway, he's a good friend of mine. He went on to sign his progressive tracks with Pure Trance, Juice Recordings. He had a Beatport #1 not long ago, which was really. I've actually got a video about Beatport coming out, why it's not important, but for him as a complete beginner, it allowed him to have something to post about. So although I don't believe Beatport really is good for a career, particularly, what's good for a career is getting your tracks played by DJs. But I'm kind of contradicting myself here. He had a track signed to Pure Trance, and it got a Beatport #1. So that was something for him to shout about. So, I've kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah,
I've got something to add to that. I've got a friend who I met when I lived in the UK years ago, and he used to make music, and he never wanted to get signed to labels, and he went down the self-publishing route, and he made a lot of money that way without labels by just cleverly promoting the tunes. Do you know, like we like meme videos, but not memes, like someone dancing and he made a lot of money doing that,
Yeah, it's down to what you want, isn't it? I guess. Yeah. But going back to Billy, Pico Boulevard, should check him out. Yeah, the point I was trying to get across was he thought he wanted to be a 140 producer. It just wasn't working for him, and he liked progressive, and he tried that, and it just really clicked for him. And as I said, he went on and got signed to Pure Trance and had some amazing success on that one. So cool. So last question, and we'll wrap it up, and we'll get you back on and design something in a few months or whatever. So what's the one thing you wish clients understood about the design process?
It takes time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you'll get somebody, it's going to take 5 minutes, it'll take 2 minutes. It never takes 2 minutes. Like I said, we've got to find solutions to design problems, and then that's basically it. We already answered this in the other question, but we need time when we're designing. You can never expect something to be done fast, and that's always the top thing that always comes up.
Brilliant.
So we need the time just to be able to develop and get the work right.
So you can't expect to send you a request and get it in the next day. You know, you need.
No.
How long are we talking for you to get to do a proper job kind of thing? Generally,
It depends. It depends on the job. It depends on the brief. So sometimes if it's for like a corporate company, 4 to 6 weeks to do a logo.
Wow, yeah. So it just goes to show what it takes. You have to do a lot of research. Yeah, I must admit it's quite eye opening because I always thought you just sent you something and then you just crack on. But you've explained a lot today, but it's a much deeper process than that.
Yeah,
which is good because when you're paying, when you're paying money for branding, you want a designer that's going that extra mile and being creative. You don't want someone that's going to download a font and change it like you get on Fiverr here.
Yeah,
you get what you pay for.
I'm currently designing some artwork for Beyond Atkinson.
Yeah.
That's finished now, but we're going to do the music part. Now we're working with Cinema 4D. It's a space scene, planet, asteroids, blah, blah, blah. So I had to make all this in 3D. It took like 3 weeks to get that done, just for the label artwork.
Yeah. I remember saying to you, like, not long ago, like, we was talking about some artwork and you quoted me. I was like, oh, when you see these prices on Fiverr, I mean, you get a price from you, which is, look, your pricing is reasonable, it's fair, and it's in line with other designers. But you get deluded and you get delusional when you see the same artwork being presented on Fiverr. And you had to give me a bit of a pep talk and say, look, Adam, there's a reason these guys are cheap because you're getting something that someone else can have. I'm going to design you something from scratch and I'm going to be original. And you kind of really made me open my eyes. And like, you buy cheap, you buy twice. Was that old saying, eh?
Yeah, and a lot of the time they're using the pre-made assets from Shutterstock. I've never used it myself, like symbols and that. So you've just got to be careful because something recently popped up. I won't go into it, but somebody paid for a record label logo, and then I realised it was a pre-made asset. So I reached out to them and said, "This is a pre-made asset. I'd speak to your designer because." Somebody else could have this logo as their label logo, then you're going to have issues and be like, oh, they've copied off my logo. So you always have to be careful with that.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, thank you so much for joining the call. Like I said, we'll have you back. So just for anyone, that wants to get in touch and they've got any questions or maybe they are interested in reaching out and getting a logo, where can people get in touch with you?
I've got a new Facebook page actually because I've only just come back into the music industry as a designer, and my page is called We Design DJ Brands. Look us up on Facebook. It's a Facebook profile for the time being, but there is a business page. But I'm currently just working on setting all that up. So if you need any work, hit us up on there, and I may have some offers for. I may have a cheeky offer for a Black Friday. I don't do that anymore, but. If you reach out to us, you may get something.
And what we'll do is, sorry,
I want to give away a logo as well.
Awesome. Well, if you've got an idea for that, maybe it's something we can do in the next video. So you have a think about that. But yeah, giving away a logo is a great idea. So that's like a nice little hook to get people to come and watch the next video. So what we'll do is when I switch back to the main screen and it's just me talking, we'll put your information up. Do you have an email just as well we can put on there?
Yeah, it's Fuse at AE. So FUSE at AE@gmail.com.
Perfect. And that's obviously a new email that you set up specifically for this. So awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back in a few months and we'll get you to design a logo. And it's been awesome chatting to you, mate.
Yeah, you too, man. It's been a while.
Thanks, mate. Awesome. So it's really fun chatting to Andy. This is all a bit new to me, so apologies if I'm a bit all over the place. We like to be real on this. But hey, you can reach Andy on Facebook at We Design DJ Brands. And the email is fuse@ae@gmail.com. So we'll put that information on the screen. But yeah, we're going to get Andy back on the channel and he's going to design a Facebook page. So we'll talk about more about that later. And he's also going to give away a free logo, a package worth well over £500. So make sure you come and check out the video. As always, you can get in touch with me, tutorials at Adam Ellis DJ. If you've got any tutorial requests or you've got any questions, anything like that. But yeah, until my next video, I'll see you soon.